to start, if you can walk us through your journey from, your administrative background, what you were doing, to now what you're doing as an IT support role. Like, walk us through that journey, like why you decided to look at transitioning careers, why you decided to upskill yourself.
Well, actually, back in India, as I said, I was working in recruitment. I used to hire for IT drives and all. I used to talk to the candidates. I used to interview them. The first round was with me. There, they have many skills. Like, for example, I came across many niche skills, back in India, I was already moved. I thought, okay, I was already moved into HR industry, so I don't think I would get enough opportunities to move into IT.
Yep.
But coming to Australia, what I did notice is the market is good here. I mean, back in India also the market was good, but what I did notice is age is not a criteria here.
Yeah, that's a big one. A lot of people we speak to, they say to me, Adam, in my 40s or in my 50s, like, or even late 30s, how can I actually, apply for a job? Is age going to be a factor? And I always say the same thing. Like, unfortunately, you've still probably got around at minimum 10 years left in your career. So there's plenty of time left for you to work.
But here I'm like, during my interviews, after doing my core 2 certification, I did attend a couple of interviews. After my core 1, I did attend a couple of interviews. I told them very clearly, see, I don't have a proper IT experience, but I do have few certification. I'm trying to learn.
Yes.
So yeah, they're happy to give me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did you find that was taken on? Because I think one of the biggest things that people are scared of is that they don't have experience. And so that they find that they're really worried applying for jobs, or they think that that's what employers want. Did you find when you were applying and going through that job placement process that a lot of the employers are just interested in, like, you being able to want to learn, want to put in the hard work and be a good fit for the business?
Yes, it actually happened during this, prior to applying for my current position. I was doing my core 1 certification and I started looking for opportunities. People, they want to jump into the market and get a candidate who's having hands-on experience so that they don't need to train them and just put them on the work.
Yep.
Because I did get rejected with 4 or 5 companies saying with the same reason. And luckily my current manager, he spoke to me. He asked me like what I want to do in the next 5 or 10 years. He understood like what I'm looking after, what I'm trying to learn.
Yep.
And he's happy to support me.
Yeah.
And I told him very clearly that I want to build a career in cybersecurity industry. He asked me straight away, like, in which field do you want? Is it in governance or security or database or like cloud? He asked me. I said it's too early for me to confirm because I don't have much experience in IT. This is my entry level. Yeah. So yeah, basing on this, once I start from scratch, once I start building from scratch, I'll get to know what is what. Basing on that, in the next 2 to 3 years, I would be able to decide where to move, to progress in future.
Yep, exactly. I think that's the thing that employers are looking for. Are you in this for the right reasons? Are you in it for the long term? And is it your passion? I literally interviewed one of our other successful students last week, Suman. She said the same thing. She before coming to us, she was applying for hundreds of jobs, getting knocked back, but she stuck with it. And then once she went through, the placement program and everything, she found employers that actually just want people to, they want people that are passionate about the space, and more importantly, they're willing to learn, because you're going to be doing a lot of that in your first year in a role, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I've started as you like in the initial class, initial session, you told me like in order to get there, you have to go step by step, and which is a good thing you have guided me through. Because I was in I was in a bit confusion, like where to start and what to do, how to achieve, like how to progress. Yep. But yeah.
Like, why did you choose cybersecurity? What was it that kind of sparked your interest?
Because what I did notice is hacking has increased a lot.
Yeah.
And companies, they are mainly looking for security, people with into cybersecurity roles. And market has a really good demand for that. That's the main reason. Yeah,
definitely. And I guess then you're obviously looking for something to upskill yourself. You found us through Facebook, I think it might have been. Google, was it? Okay, Google. And so why did you decide to choose us as your training provider?
The main thing is flexibility, because if I need to go for a training session, I need to take almost like, if I need to sign up for some class, I need to take like 5 or 10 days leave, and they, everything, instead of studying for a year, everything will be completed in the 5 to 10 days, which is hard for me. People like me, like I'm a mom. I mean, I have a 2.5-year-old kid, and it's hard for me to manage.
Yeah, I remember, without going into too much detail, but it was tricky, a tricky period there through COVID. A lot of our students that might be, parents, they've got kids at home, it just makes everything a little bit harder. And so I think having the flexibility of being able to study and find it, if you can, I think we even took back your study hours and we just said, let's just do little by little for now, and then we can always catch up later.
Yeah. So the first thing is flexibility. Flexibility, and whatever the time frame is, we do have access to the labs.
So being able to just jump in when you can, and then also, I think what's important, flexibility, but also having structure, which is where the student support sessions come in. So tell us a little bit more about those, the support and the guidance throughout the course. How do you find that?
Well, actually, you kept on motivating me all the time. And the other thing is, initially when I started, I did have a resume, career progression session with, I'm not sure, I'm not able to recollect his name.
It might have been, that might have been Doris, potentially.
Yes. Maybe I can let you. Yeah, that's Doris. Yes.
Yeah. So that was a difference between a student session, but then you had one of the career sessions as well.
Yes. So you have signed me up. I mean, you have arranged both the sessions for me. So yes, Doris told me like what need to be added on resume and how to build your resume. And how to highlight your skills. And that's what he mentioned. And the student session, you kept on motivating me, like, oh, that's all right. You didn't finish this week. That's fine. You can do it next week.
Tell us a little bit more about the role that you've just gone into. Like, how are you finding it? How much are you learning? What are you doing?
Actually, the current role is purely into IT. So I'm dealing with the desktop and application support. So desktop, all the IT inventories in my hands. I'm playing with them actually.
Nice.
So if they're having a hardware issue, they're coming to me. I'm trying to fix them like remotely or in person, and reimaging the laptops. And in Core 2, I think in the second or third module, I guess, we had reimage. I mean, how to install Windows and all, and the disk managements. So these are really handy actually. And
how to upgrade and install operating systems.
In place upgrade. And how to repair the operating system, and how to what we call and the troubleshooting steps for small issues. And how to set up a Wi-Fi. Those are actually helpful.
And so obviously it's important, you need to learn those in theory, which is why we have the tutorials, but then you jump into the live labs and practice that theory. You practice it practically in the live lab, and we try and mimic what you're actually going to be doing in the workplace environment. We're trying to mimic as close as possible in those labs. So did you find that there was some overlapping skills, that what you learned in the labs is what you're actually doing in the job?
Yes.
Awesome. Tell us more about that.
What I can tell you, there are a few issues, what disk management example. While doing the operating system installation, there are a few steps which shown us how to do the disk management, like how to partition the disk and all. And how to set up the drive. I mean, the GPT or the dynamic. It was good.
Yeah, good. I think that's the difference. That gives you a little bit of confidence going into a role without experience. If you've got the practical skill,
Yeah.
I think it's really, really important. But if you take a step back to when you did start with us, talk us through some of your some of your doubts and fears about changing career, about studying again. How are you feeling?
First concern was, will I be able to study?
Yeah.
Because almost almost like after 10 years, I guess I'm touching books again, like doing the study mode and all. I did study in between, but that was going into the college for like full time and doing for 18 weeks. That's completely different. But with a kid, my main concern was, will I be able to complete the certification?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
and
It's tough.
and will I be able to change the job?
And so what made you overcome those fears?
Yeah, it gave me a bit confidence, like going through and getting to know what is what. Like, for example, like for in the core one, they have told me like about the hardware stuff and all. In the core two, they said how to deal with the software issues, or how to set up a Wi-Fi, or reimaging, or troubleshooting. So these skills actually helped,
And then,
to overcome those fears.
yeah,
These actually helped.
there's a big difference between, I guess, someone like yourself who takes action, and those fears can hold you back, and nothing can change if you go, you know what, this might not work. So I'm really interested to know what was the point where you decided, yeah, I might not be able to study, or yeah, I might not get a job, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like, what made you make that decision?
There is a saying, make it or break it.
Yeah.
I went with the flow. Yeah.
Yep. And so what do you mean by make it or break it? Like, as in either...
I'll go ahead and finish my certification and crack a job. If not, that's fine. I'll try to do the certification.
Yeah. At least you've given it a go. You can look back in a year's time and go, you know what? At least I gave, that
I gave it a shot.
I gave
Yeah.
it a shot. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. All right. And I guess for anyone, as a bit of advice, like for anyone that might be potentially sitting on the fence and at that stage going, do I do this? Is it going to work? What do I do? Like, what kind of advice would you give to those people?
Same, make it or break it.
Yeah.
Because even I was scared to go ahead with this, Adam. Like, I was in a mode to, okay, I have to do these certification. Will I be able to complete this? Will I be able to move ahead? Or what will happen? Will I be able to sit and study? Yeah.
Yep. And now look where you are.
Yeah, just make time for yourself. That's what I understood.
Yeah.
If you want to study, you have to make time for yourself. Yeah.
You've got to make it happen. Exactly.